You've heard us discuss the principles of self-efficacy and what the effects of self-efficacy can be on a teacher and also on her students. Now I'll explain how a teacher can achieve a strong sense of self-efficacy and discuss the concept of collective efficacy. There's 4 basic ways a teacher can earn a high sense of self-efficacy. The first one is from mastery experience. This is the strongest, most influential source for efficacy. This is basically having good results in the past. Simply put, individuals gauge the effects of their actions, and their interpretations of these effects help create their efficacy belief. So if you have successes in your past, you're going to build a higher sense of self-efficacy. If you have failures, that's typically going to lower your sense of self-efficacy. In our case study that we did, Maggie Lindberg, she had a low sense of self-efficacy because her limited experience as a teacher included a really negative experience when she was substituting. She was taking students on a field trip, and one of the students ran away from the group, and it was something she wasn't expecting to happen and didn't have experience on how to handle it. So she handled it the best way she thought she could. And when she got back to the classroom, the principal was in her classroom with her class, and although they didn't really reprimand her, she definitely felt like she had failed in that instance. So that was on her mind and started her off on the wrong foot of having this lower sense of self-efficacy. A second way a teacher can build a sense of self-efficacy is through vicarious experience. Basically, that's a teacher observing another teacher doing well and succeeding at whatever the task is. By watching that teacher and seeing their successes, another teacher can feel like she can vicariously do the same thing and have the same results. So in the case study again with Maggie Lindberg, she could have improved her sense of self-efficacy by observing the art teacher. She knew that the art teacher was successful at controlling her classroom, even though Miss Lindberg was not. But unfortunately, Maggie didn't really pick up on that. She just thought, wow, they must really like art because they behave so well in her classroom. A third way a teacher can achieve a higher sense of self-efficacy is through verbal or social persuasion. This is basically somebody giving them a pep talk or giving them feedback on what they did well, and they kind of speak that into the person. This is somewhat helpful, but it needs to the feedback needs to be specific, suggestions of way to improve their areas of content or delivery, not just like you look great today. It needs to be applicable to their skills and abilities. But this persuasion is most likely not going to last very long unless the teacher then tries whatever was spoken to them and has a success. If they don't have success after it, they're not going to have this false sense of efficacy just because someone else encourages them. And the last way of building a strong self-efficacy is through what is called psychological reactions. This includes the psychological and emotional states such as anxiety and stress, along with one's mood. So back to the example of Miss Lindberg. Her low self-efficacy was probably influenced from her feelings of failure and disappointment from her first field trip experience, and she also was having a lot of anxiety about the upcoming field trip. So that most likely was adding to her low sense of self-efficacy, along with the stress she was feeling just day to day in the classroom when her students were not respecting her and not exhibiting good behavior. Another aspect of efficacy is collective efficacy. This is basically the perception of the teacher in a school that the efforts of the faculty as a whole will have a positive effect on the students. So benefits of that would be improving the individual teacher's efficacy, positive effect on parent-teacher relationships, and it also builds teachers' commitment to the school. If everyone feels good about what they're doing, they're most likely going to stay at the school. The principals can definitely influence the teacher's efficacy by modeling behavior such as risk-taking and cooperation, inspiring the group purpose, contributing to the development of shared values, and also working to raise the collective efficacy of their faculties. In our case study, again, Ms. Lindberg shared little information about whether there was collective efficacy, but the one instance with the principal from her past didn't seem like they were very constructive or helpful in the situation. That's an area where they could have helped her improve as a teacher. So in closing, there's 4 ways that you can help to achieve your general sense of efficacy: by mastery experience, vicarious experience, verbal or social persuasion, and their psychological reactions. Thank you.